But he also cast fresh doubt over summer holidays abroad by warning that travel will remain difficult this year. Mr. Johnson gave his latest assessment of the national effort against the pandemic during a visit to the MHRA laboratory in South Mimms, Herts, yesterday. He said, "You can never exclude that there will be some new disease, some new horror that we simply haven't budgeted for, or accounted for. But looking at where we are, looking at the efficacy of the vaccines against all variants that we can currently see, so Alpha, Delta, the lot of them, Kappa, I think it's looking good for July 19 to be that terminus point. I think what the scientists are saying is that things like flu will come back this winter. We may have a rough winter for all sorts of reasons, and obviously there are big pressures on the NHS. All the more reason to reduce the number of COVID cases now. Give the NHS the breathing space it needs to get on with dealing with all those other pressures, and we are certainly going to be putting in the investment to make sure that they can." Despite his optimistic remarks about easing restrictions next month, the PM played down suggestions that restrictions on foreign travel could be lifted as more people receive the vaccine. He said, "I want to stress that this is going to be, whatever happens, a difficult year for travel. There will be hassle, there will be delays, I am afraid, because the priority has got to be to keep the country safe and stop the virus coming back in." Mr. Johnson's warning about travel followed confirmation that the government is planning to ease quarantine restrictions. Health Secretary Matt Hancock said a new system using daily COVID tests instead of isolation was being trialed by 40,000 people and could soon be rolled out once clinicians have studied the data. Under the plan to revise quarantine restrictions, the 10-day isolation period could be axed in favor of daily lateral flow tests, fast home kits. Mr. Hancock said the approach is being piloted, to check that it will be effective. He added, "We're not ready to be able to take that step yet. But it's something that I want to see and we will introduce, subject to clinical advice, as soon as it's reasonable to do so." Asked whether the remaining restrictions are likely to be lifted before England's Freedom Day, Mr. Hancock said experts will examine the figures shortly. He said, "We are looking at the data. And we've said that we'll take a specific look 2 weeks into the 4-week delay that we had to put in place to get more people vaccinated, so we'll do that. But I have every confidence that the more people get vaccinated, the easier it is and the safer it is to lift restrictions. We had to have the delay in order to get more people vaccinated, especially those second vaccines to protect people. We're being careful, we're being cautious. But I have a high degree of confidence that this vaccine is going to get us out of this, and the more people who come forward, the easier that will be." Downing Street officials yesterday played down suggestions the planned total lifting of lockdown in England could be brought forward from July 19. The PM's spokesman said that while there would be a 2-week review of the data, currently cases were continuing to rise. They added, "We will monitor case data day by day to see if moving forward after 2 weeks is possible. You'll see the data. We are looking at 10,000 cases recorded for the 3rd day in a row on Saturday, which is the highest level since February 2. The 7-day average for hospitalizations also continues to rise. ICU intake is also rising." Business Secretary Kwasi Kwarteng admitted it is unlikely that restrictions in England will be lifted before July 19. He said, "I would always err on the side of caution and I would look to July 19. It could be before, but I think that is unlikely. Generally we have stuck to the dates we have set. I think now I am very focused on July 19. Mr. Johnson had originally set yesterday for the end of all coronavirus restrictions. But he delayed Freedom Day for 4 weeks because of concerns over the rapidly spreading Delta variant first identified in India. The government yesterday said that there had been a further 10,633 lab-confirmed COVID-19 cases in the UK. Another 5 people had died within 28 days of testing positive by yesterday, bringing the UK total to 127,981.